the root of the problem is that we are not very, we're not looking at our relationship with nature in the right spirit. What is our relationship with nature? So in nature there is no waste. I would define waste as an unwanted output of something, some process. And in nature there's no such thing. Any output is an input for another process. While with human wastes, there are things, especially more and more now with so-called development, that are not inputs for anything else. In fact, they are a sink problem that you don't know what to do with. So this is, I think, at the root of the problem of the waste. If we start to look at it like that what is it that goes into a kind of cycle? It can be an input for something else, which is how nature works. If we learn from nature, then a lot of the waste problem will be solved, because waste will not exist in that same sense. It's not a linear process in nature, right? There are choices we make all the time about things that we consume, about the waste that comes out of there, what do we do with that waste. If we are just more mindful and conscious of these choices and know our power in the making of those choices, then we can have a direct impact. Direct, even though small, but a direct impact. Now, whether it remains small or not, there's one thing that people don't really take into account, which is that even if you want to make a big impact, and therefore a lot of people have to do that thing, it starts with you yourself. If there is something, some action you're not taking yourself, you can't get even one person to convert to that action. So to even get one other person to convert, you have to do it in your own life. But it's a direct impact. People can see it, people learn from it. Even when people don't listen to you, they see from what you're doing. The second level, of course, is to, if you want to engage at a deeper level and a high level, is to see what are the ways in which you can inspire more and more people about it, or even call into account certain authorities. Now, that power is also available to individuals, except that it's not seen as such an individual power. So if you, for example, take a local government like a municipality to account for not recycling or not looking at garbage as an issue to be not just seen as a garbage disposal problem, but also part of the garbage is something which is what someone has called green gold. You can make compost out of it. Have they created systems that can actually be done? That is separate and that can go into making of compost? Are there spaces, open spaces available that compost can be made? Are there any help provided to people who want to make compost? Are there places that they would make available to sell compost? Governments don't act in a vacuum. They act because there is some kind of pressure put into them that this is how you should be acting. And an individual can take the lead in that. So that's another level of engagement, calling into account bigger authorities. Okay, so now there is one very important distinction in garbage that people usually, because they don't bring a sharp mind to think about it, obliterate it. And that distinction is between the problem of garbage disposal and the problem of garbage generation. You just put it all together in one thing called garbage. But it's important to understand these two separately. Now, let's understand that with an example. If you go to let's say any Indian village or city today, there are certain areas which have a lot of garbage all strewn around, which is really, it's called littering, right? There is all this littering. And littering is not good because it looks dirty, it looks ugly. So beautification means that we should throw our garbage into the dustbin. That's what we teach all our children, right? Everybody teaches their children, throw your garbage into the dustbin, don't throw it anywhere, right? So that is garbage disposal problem. The West has solved this problem. Everybody in the West, their cities are clean, their villages are clean. It's a very efficient system. It takes garbage away from your sight. You can't see it. It's not a problem. However, the real problem, which is at the foundation level, is not garbage disposal, it's garbage generation. What is human activity doing in terms of creating garbage? And you have the exactly opposite situation if we see the West and let's say traditional cultures like India, where there may be garbage strewn around, but how much garbage is being generated per person, per capita, and compare it with garbage being generated per person, per capita in a place like the US, it will be at least 10 times in the US. Now, of course, it's not dirty, it's not looking dirty because you put the garbage somewhere else. But where is that garbage going? There is no such place as away. It is being dumped somewhere and it is causing problems there. It's just that you're not seeing it. It's like an ostrich-like attitude. There's danger in front of you, you put your head in the sand, you can't see danger, you say no danger. That's dumb. Danger still exists. The danger is in that garbage. The danger is not in the fact that you see it or don't see it. So in fact, sometimes the fact that you have dealt with the problem of garbage disposal, you have efficient mechanisms of garbage disposal, actually exacerbates the problem of garbage generation because you don't see the problem, you create more and more garbage. So maybe it's better that we see our filth right in front of our eyes and not have someone else deal with it, right? This distinction is extremely important because otherwise you have this situation where garbage from richer countries gets dumped into poorer countries, and the richer countries come and preach to the poorer countries saying that you don't know how to take care of garbage, you have no health and sanitation, ways of living, and you must improve yourself, you're so bad and you're so dumb. And there can be this holier than thou preacher without looking into the genesis of the problem, where it's gotten created. Another distinction which is important to make is, okay, we have these 3 R's of the environment: reduce, reuse, recycle. But since we use words loosely, we just often use the word recycle for all of them. But it's important to make that distinction. The recycle is good, of course, but it is not as good as reuse. Why? Because in recycle, you're still using energy. There is also, so you have an input, you have a throughput, whatever the process is happening, and you have an output. And in any such process, there is the problem of source, which is from input, the problem of sink, which is the output, and there is the process which takes energy. Any process takes energy. Where is the energy coming from? Largely through fossil fuels today. So we also have a duty to use less energy. So one should go for recycling, but not if you have the reuse option. And if you have the reduce option. And in fact, I like to have another option added before reduce also, which is refuse. Say no, you don't want it.